Whether you refer to them as a swindler, fraudster, grifter, or con man, they have one goal in mind: stealing your hard-earned cash through mistrust. Here are 4 of the largest Ponzi schemes in history. 4. Scott Rothstein. Scott W. Rothstein, a former lawyer based in Florida, operated a Ponzi scheme that involved selling fictitious settlements. Rothstein started to promote investments in structured settlements, which involved purchasing future legal settlements at a discounted rate and then selling them to investors at a profit. He claimed that these investments offered high returns with little risk. However, in reality, Rothstein was using new investor funds to pay off earlier investors, making it a classic Ponzi scheme. Rothstein's scheme started to unravel in October 2009 when he fled to Morocco amid growing suspicions and mounting financial pressure. He defrauded investors out of approximately $1.2 billion. Rothstein was convicted for racketeering, fraud, and conspiracy. He was sentenced to 50 years in prison in 2010. 3. Tom Petters. Tom Petters, a businessman from Minnesota, orchestrated a Ponzi scheme through his company, Petters Group Worldwide. The scheme involved the fraudulent sale of electronics to retailers, with promised high returns. The fraud was uncovered in 2008, and Petters was convicted. Petters was arrested in October 2008 and charged with multiple crimes, including mail fraud, wire fraud, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit fraud. In 2009, he was found guilty on all counts and sentenced to 50 years in federal prison without the possibility of parole. The total loss in the scheme was estimated to be around $3.65 billion. 2. Robert Allen Stanford. Robert Allen Stanford operated a Ponzi scheme involving his offshore bank, Stanford International Bank, SIB. Stanford's scheme primarily targeted investors in Latin America, offering fraudulent certificates of deposit with high returns. The scheme collapsed in 2009, resulting in estimated losses of around $7 billion. He was convicted and sentenced to 110 years in prison, forfeiture of $5.9 billion, $6.7 billion disgorgement, and a $5.9 billion civil penalty. 1. Bernie Madoff. Bernie Madoff, a former chairman of the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, orchestrated one of the largest known Ponzi schemes in history. Starting in the 1990s, Madoff used BLMIS to run a Ponzi scheme, promising consistent high returns to investors while using new investor funds to pay off earlier investors. He maintained the illusion of legitimacy by providing fraudulent account statements and falsifying investment performance reports. The scheme collapsed in December 2008 when Madoff confessed to his sons that his investment operation was, in fact, a massive fraud. His sons reported him to the authorities, and Madoff was arrested. It was revealed that the fraud had been ongoing for several decades, defrauding investors out of billions of dollars. Madoff defrauded thousands of investors out of an estimated $65 billion. In March 2009, Bernie Madoff pleaded guilty to numerous charges, including securities fraud, investment advisor fraud, and other crimes. In June of the same year, he was sentenced to 150 years in federal prison. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.